Maranatha, my PBC family and friends. Pastor Brian here with another quick bite, living the word. Their words going to come from 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And what's going on here basically is Paul is talking to the church of Corinth about those who would accuse them of being people who were walked according to the flesh. Matter of fact, let's just pick up there at verse 2. I'm going to read down a little bit and then come back and discuss why this is upon my heart. It says, "But I teach you that you may not be bold when I am present with the confidence." Let's try that again. "But I beseech you, that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh." And then so you got people who are basically coming against them, accusing them of walking according to the flesh, that they're not really after godly things. And then it says this, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh." So for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and everything that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to obedience of Christ, and having in readiness to revenge all disobedience when our obedience is fulfilled." So what I love about this passage right here in particular is how Paul really in this passage separates the idea of the flesh from the spirit. And what I mean by that is this, is he says, yes, I walk in the flesh. In other words, I have some issues. I'm going to stumble every once in a while. I'm going to say something wrong sometimes. I'm going to do something wrong sometimes, but that's not what matters. My weapons, though I walk in the flesh, I do not war after the flesh. In other words, I'm not trying to fight for my flesh. I'm not trying to fight to make sure my flesh is taken care of. I'm fighting for the spiritual matters of this world. That's what I'm fighting for. He says, for our weapons, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Literally, we don't try to fight fire with fire, right? I know that sounds weird to say. We fight fire with prayer. We fight the enemy with the Lord, with the Spirit, with His Word, with prayer. We don't sit there and try to go, well, I'm going to figure out a way to defend myself like this. And he goes, but mighty through God to the pulling down strongholds. Why? Because if we will fight the way God has designed us to fight, with the weapons God's designed us to fight with, we'll pull down the strongholds. What strongholds is he talking about? What strongholds is he really worried about? The vain imaginations. Everything that exalts itself against God. Everything that brings into captivity of thought to the obedience of God. In other words, that we might actually bring those stronghold hearts, those ones who just deny God, to have no desire to live for God, we might bring them down. Not through the flesh, but through the Spirit. Not through warring after the flesh, but fighting the battle the way God designed us to fight it. So help us encourage you today, just remember how we are to conduct ourselves, guys. The battle we're in is not one of the flesh. The battle we're in is one of the Spirit. And so let's get busy being fervent in the Spirit with all prayer, supplications, intercessions, doing the battle the way God designed it to be done. I love you. We love you. God loves you. And God's got this.